Hey guys, this is SF and welcome to Random Talk Sundays. This week it is going to be Oragon, the 24/7, so I don't know how far I am. I think I'm like only around 50. I'm only around 48, so you know, still got halfway. There's still a lot of time left. I think it still says 1 day, but it's only been, I think, 13-14 hours. So still a lot of time, and usually when I solo it's like around 5-6 hours if I go non-stop, so pretty easy. And this is my usual farming team for people that saw my walkthrough video. This is my legit team. So Toneko, Mixler M, Agnamut, Mixler M, and then Plum as normal, and then whatever Slayer or good fire monster for my friend. But I am filming this on a Saturday, not on a Friday, just because I have to wait. I wanted to wait for the Monster Strike news, and basically details for Final Fantasy monsters are out in, well, half out, because like, you know, you don't see like the attack stats, and the farmables haven't been announced in terms of what you call it, in terms of abilities and stuff like that. So, you know, but in terms of the Hatcher, in terms of the whole collaboration, from what I've heard or from what I've read about other people's opinions and stuff like that, it's not crazy great. And they're basically banking on the fact that Final Fantasy is like a really good series, and it's a very popular series, so you get like nostalgia from players and stuff like that. So that's why it's great, because it's one of those IPs that is really hard to get collaborations, in my opinion. Especially when, you know, when Final Fantasy makes like a mobile game every other month. This month I think it's Dissidia, or whatever that name is, and then like, you know, there's like Grandmasters, there's good ones and there's bad ones, you know. There's Grandmasters, Brave Exvius, what's that other game with Wall, you know, like there are a ton of them out there. So, you know, why collab with another mobile game when, you know, when you have more, and when you have some that are out as well. And you know, but in terms of like what people like, you know, say is like, why only 5 series? You know, there's a Final Fantasy 15, right? So why 5? You know, of course Monster Strike only has 5 hatchers per collaboration. It's kind of like, kind of set in stone like that, so of course that's the reason why. But you know, some people don't really like it because, you know, not all their favorite characters are in there, you know. I say, you know, a lot, but you know, damn it. But 10, you know, there's no 10, there's no Yuna, there's no Yuna from 10, there's no Tifa from 7. Other big ones are there, you know, Zidane from 8 question mark, or Squall was 8. I think Squall was 9. I don't play Final Fantasy games. Well, actually I play Final Fantasy games. I played them before, but I never really finish a lot of it. I usually get, I wouldn't say bored, but you know, when you get to the grinding parts, you know, like sometimes when you hit a boss and it's too high level, then you start grinding for levels and stuff like that, it gets really obnoxious for me. So I don't really like grinding like that. And I'm talking, it's kind of like, it feels like I'm a hypocrite because I'm grinding now. I'm grinding like a max luck instead of grinding just levels, so I'm kind of being kind of a hypocrite. But I never really liked turn-based as well, but I have finished some. I finished 10, I finished 13, and that was basically it. And But I basically dabbled in all of it. Like, I dabbled all the other ones except for 15 because I don't have a PS4. But I played, you know, 13, I played 13-2, and then Lightning Returns, 10, 10-2, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, even the, and I'm talking about Japanese numbers. I'm not talking about the American numbers. God damn it, one drop. In 4 minutes, relatively easy. Like I said, it's an easy dungeon. So, you know, 5 series, which is never great. And another thing was why Lightning got the evolution and ascension. I'm not really sure about the Japanese, like the Japanese demographic perception of 13, but everyone knew that the Western players think that 13 is pretty much the worst Final Fantasy game of the whole series, like of all time. Like the main story. I'm not talking about like there's some like those spin-offs that are probably worse than that, but 13 was never great. So Lightning got the evolution ascension treatment, which is basically saying that she is the best hatcher monster of it, and she is the best hatcher monster in Monster Strike, of course. The ascension is way too crazy, in my opinion. And why I think, like, the thing about collaboration monsters in Monster Strike is that they do fall off relatively quickly. Like, I don't give them 6 months. I never give them 6 months to make, to say, to make it back to where they were used to be. So, for example, Ryu was basically trashed after like a lot of things. Was pretty much forgotten. I know some people still use Ryu. I use Ryu like once a month for tower. I don't think I use them anymore. Like I use them for 24th floor. That was basically it. And then Eva, like Shinji was meh. Like people use Shinji Atos more than normal Shinji. And Kaorurushi got some revived, got some relevancy when Eden came back, but basically became obsolete once and Lucifer came, or Satan came for Eden to wreck that dungeon. Ultraman really never got off his feet, especially with, he was good when Skill Me Zero came, right after the Ultraman collaboration. Not right after, but after the Ultraman collaboration. But then that got he became irrelevant when Harley X came and people knew about the dungeon more, about the blogs and stuff like that. Saint Seiya was really good, but then especially with her thing, but Roy's basically not her thing, his thing with the nuke, but Roy's came out, and I think Roy's came out before Saint Seiya, and then people thought, oh, Roy's is way better anyways because people like Bounce Monster better. I don't know why. And of course, to make optimal use of Saint Seiya is to use Rosa to reveal weak point, and then you basically take up 2 slots, where Roy's you can just take off 1 slot and it deals adequate damage that way. And then Kurama is the latest collaboration monster, so like I said, I don't give a collaboration monster more than 6 months, and he's nearing his time. Let's say Kurama is nearing his time. I think it came out in November and it is February, so like 3 more months, and then I'm pretty sure he goes down the drain. So, but for Lightning Ascension, like why like collaboration hatcher monsters are kind of falls off is that they're really gimmicky. Like the only reason you really want them is just for the special effects, which I think, like, you know, Monster Strike does really well with, you know, with the ray gun for Yusuke, Ryu's Shoryuken, and all that stuff. Ultraman's like spacious ray and all that stuff. Like that's what they're going for with their monsters. But for Lightning, For lightning, stats wise, it's like crazy good. Well, like ability wise, I don't know about the actual stats, but it basically ability set is perfect. No gravity barrier, no warp. This is the ascension. No gravity barrier, no warp. And the only monster that can rival her is Hanzo. Right now, like the only top tier no gravity barrier, no warp monster is Hanzo, which is pretty. It's an elite club right there, and I really think that Lightning can rival Hanzo. Can rival Hanzo in whatever dungeon you want to take him, like either in Karma, Izanagi Zero, and whatever. And then bump combos, Chain Lightning. So when you compare it to like Hanzo, kind of the same. Of course, Hanzo has more bump combos, but Chain Lightning is really strong on its own, and you basically compare it to this destruction, spread destruction, not spread destruction, slice and dice destruction, and you know it's around there. I guess destruction is a little bit better, especially when you have the homing there as well. But you know it's on par. And then what is it? Strike shot, speed up, power up, and a drain basically from Pandora. It's basically a Pandora drain. Of course, it might not heal you up to full, but it's still a good strike shot, and it's unique enough that it's not like the other collaboration Hatcher monsters where you know it's a bash and then it's like ooh special effect, and then you know and then it deals damage. Like this one, like it's less fixed. Like Ryu's Shoryuken, it's kind of fixed in terms of how much damage it can do, but also Kurama's, also Saint Seiya's and all that stuff. But Lightning's is speed up, power up, and a drain. So with that speed up and power up, it kind of sky's the limit in a way where it's kind of less consistent, but there's a higher ceiling, which I think is really, really strong. And of course, it's also a heal, so you can use it when you're in trouble. You can get a pinch, and then you know it can heal you full and stuff like that. So that's why I think Lightning can stand past 6 months, and it will only last past 6 months if there's no monster that can trump Hanzo or her. And from the looks of it, Hanzo is really up there and staying cozy up there on the first spot. But now if you're thinking about Lightning when compared to other monsters, especially the light monsters, I don't think she's like top 3. I don't think she's like top 3 in my opinion, but she is at least a top 5, borderline top 5. I think like Udi, Arthur, in terms of light monsters, I'm just saying, Udi, Arthur, God Striker, Roy's kind of trumps her, and then you kind of make arguments for Zeus. Who else? Other good light monsters are out there. I think those are like the really good ones. Like Lightning's better than Ra for sure. Lightning's better than Musashi and other stuff and like that. Like not like even Spider-Man kind of fell off. I forgot one more collaboration, but Spider-Man kind of fell off. And you kind of want Lightning just because, especially when you're stacking no gravity barrier monsters, is that Lightning is both a support and a attacker, more on the attacker spectrum of that, and that's what people really like about monsters in general in this game. Is the more damage is the better. You don't really want like full supports. Like even Alice is not a full support, but Alice is like geared towards the support end instead of the damage end, whereas Lightning is more on the attacker end instead of the support end, which I think she will last 6 months. I'm not betting money on that, but there is a high chance of that happening just because of the monsters out here already, and how her things is not as gimmicky, in my opinion. If you think the SS is gimmicky enough, then you're gonna say Pandora's Drain is gimmicky, and that will be falling off really soon. And I don't think Pandora's Drain is gonna make her obsolete. Like the drain is not gonna be obsolete to make Pandora, you know, to be like really like useless in the future, especially for at least 6 months. Like Pandora's still gonna be going strong for 6 months because of how she was released and stuff like that. And what else is there? Well, there are some good points about the collaboration, going back to, you know, why people didn't like the Hatcher. I really like the collaboration in that sense. Is what's really good about it is, of course, Sephiroth. Sephiroth is max luckable. People are kind of scared that it's going to be a really super hard dungeon, kind of like Toguro 100% when he came out, or like Saga when he came out, like those really hard dungeons where you only have to clear it once, and then, you know, there's some like other way of max lucking it and stuff like that. I don't think that's gonna happen. One reason is Max Murai, you know, YouTuber and stuff like that, is going to have an official stream of it when it first comes out, and you know, those types of dungeons are for like M4 status players and stuff like that. So pretty sure it'll be a normal extreme. I don't think, and I forgot the time, but I don't think time-wise he's going to be the one drop either. So it might be just a normal extreme and stuff like that. Unless they're gonna bring some super form of Sephiroth. I don't think in terms of Final Fantasy VII there is like a super crazy form, because he's already like, he only has that one wing. He's already like he's already half naked, where I think it's like the final battle with Cloud and stuff like that. And I bet the base form is the, you know, with him with the jacket and stuff like that. So I don't think he's going to be like have a super special form. And Brahma got stuck, so sad face. Either way, I am going to max luck everything like normal. In terms of how much I'm going to roll, I'll do a 10 shot and see. I'm not really crazy about Final Fantasy, as you can probably hear, because I haven't finished a lot of them. Only like played a few and stuff like that. So I'll do a 10 shot, maybe 2 10 shots, depending on how many orbs I get during the thing. And hopefully get a 5-star, and then that will be it. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a second Final Fantasy collaboration, and then just going to add more as series. People thought it was going to be more 15 related, but no 15 monsters. And in Yastra, I'm also going to be max looking at Yastra as well. It really depends on how much the Cactuars come out, but you only get Cactuars throughout the collaboration events. I'm pretty sure it's just like a random mob where he invades and stuff like that, and you clear him, and then he pops out and stuff like that, or more. So you might have to farm some Savage. The Savage monsters are Judge, whatever. I don't know their names. Well, I know their names, but I know their names, but I don't know how to pronounce it, so I don't want to butcher their names. But off to, well, actually, one more JP news is Athena. Athena Transcension is meh. I'm gonna say it out loud. It's kind of meh. But for people that don't have Captain America, then she is very good for Arcadia. And I think she's even better than Captain America in Arcadia just because of the fire resistance. So Captain America basically gets relegated to Avalon in that sense. And, you know, Athena for Arcadia, but he's not like super crazy OP in my opinion. For Arcadia, she's not like Satan or Lucifer in Eden when that transition came out. She's just there, I guess. She's just there, but everything else is okay, you know, energy circle L and stuff like that. And the strike shot is basically the same as Captain America. So good job for, so you don't really have to be hoping for Captain America coming to the global version because Athena is sufficient enough. But there is a Valentine's Day version. It's going to be up forever, but you know, there is one of the materials is a Valentine's Day XP, which is up for a limited time in the friend hatcher. So make sure you roll the friend hatcher to grab that, and if you want to get that Valentine's Day version, then make sure you save it up to, you know, to do it when you actually get Athena. I'm probably gonna get one and then save it for Valentine's Day Athena if I get her sometime in the near future. And which form you should go for? In my opinion, there's not much difference. The difference is that luck skills are changed. Actually, I'll go for like the normal. The biggest change is the bump combo, where Valentine's Day version is an energy heart, so same thing as Olive. Whereas the normal transcension is energy circle L, so same thing as Lucifer. Not Lucifer. Same thing as Lucy. And strike shot is pretty much the same, but it's just the effect is different. Where normal transcension is a giant shield, and the Valentine's Day version is like a chocolate. It's a chocolate. It's more trolly than strong, than like cool looking. But I'm pretty sure the strike shot multipliers and stuff like that are the same, so you don't have to worry about it that much. And then the luck seal difference. So normal has shield, and then Valentine's Day has bump combo critical. Now, for most people that are thinking bump combo critical is really good for energy heart because, you know, does more damage and stuff like that. But energy heart has a smaller area of effect than the energy circle L, so it kind of evens out that end. And, you know, strike shot difference is nothing big. It's just a matter of which one you really want to see out moving around with Athena. So choose the one that you really want. I guess like people will go for Valentine's Day for art and stuff like that, or maybe maybe the normal one will get people's eyes just because she's sitting. There is like a jinx, well, kind of like a myth where monsters that sit down are really OP, aka like Lucy. What other monsters that sit down? Oh yeah, Ralph sits down as well. So 2 monsters that sits down are crazy OP. So there is that legend where, you know, where that thing's there, but I don't think she's going to be as strong as those 2 monsters, in my opinion. And in terms of like normal water monsters, like the sad part is that she is a no damage ball monster, right? She doesn't do as much damage as Susano, and the strike shot difference between Susano and Athena is pretty much the same. It really depends on how where you shoot and stuff like that. You know, Ralph way better with the recovery and the strike shot. D'Artagnan better in the bump combo department, and you know, and those 2 have more ability than her in terms of no abilities. or better no abilities, let's just say that. So, you know, I don't think she'll make top 10. It's gonna be a little bit close in my opinion, but from what I know, it's not gonna be top 10 worthy. Well, I guess depending on what, well, I guess you can, but is she better than Lancelot? Like, Lancelot's kind of different in my opinion. Lancelot, I don't think they're about the same, I guess, but Lancelot has the better abilities, but Athena has the better bump combo and stuff like that. But whatever. And one more run, let's do one more run, and then I'll talk about NA, or talk about Global, and that's mainly going to be Tower of Champions. It's coming back, and they're going to add floors all the way up to 40, and it's going to be crazy. But we did get some new monsters and stuff like that, so we have a higher chance of winning for the most part. 36 Rolf, 37 is, what's good for 37? You know, Himiko, Avalon, Shizuka, Athos, and then 38 Kushina Zeros, Hunter King, and then 39 is Royce. 39 is Royce. There's no Loki, so it's not that crazy easy, but it's relatively easy with Royce, in my opinion. And then 40th is, you know, Arthur, Gabby, God Striker and stuff like that, so you don't have to worry about that much. So I think, like, even the dungeons that people struggle on, 33, there was Fire Noel, and now there's Azazel. There's one more that I'm missing. There's definitely one more that I'm missing that is really good. Avalon, of course. 22, bring Olive. 23, Sana Yukimura. I think for 22 and 23, I've done videos of like a triple Olive team, where basically you just tank out with the heart, energy heart. I mean the heart barrier. So you can check that out. And then 23, no, 23 Sada's. It did have Shinji Atos in that team, but you can switch out for Wukong if you have him, or you don't really have to bring a speed up, but it's a little bit easier in my opinion. But you know, 2 or 3 Sada's in that team will be more than enough damage in my opinion. And then I think those are like the really hard ones. I think those are the really hard ones that people have trouble, and we have the monsters for it to make it less challenging. Or I guess like 31 is forever going to be super hard, but Odin's there. People bring Odin because of the HP difference, and you know, Nina Kana is also good there as well, which we got recently as well. So you'll more likely be able to clear it with the monsters. Of course, it's not going to be as easy as JP does right now, but you know, you'll have a higher chance in my opinion, especially when some players started during that time and didn't have a box at all. This time, for people that started during back that time, I think it was like September or something, the last time it came, pretty sure you have a higher chance and you'll reach far and hopefully get that 68 orbs if they do the rewards the same way. And of course, Babel is going to be there and going to be ascendable, but he won't be able to be ascended until next month because you get the materials for ascended Babel is 25 from the base to ascension and 20 from evolve to ascension, and you only get 10 element of Babels, which is the material, to ascend. So the shortest is 2 months. Whether they're going to do it every single month is a mystery, but from you know, I think they should, in my opinion. Judging like how they want to be more like JP in terms of, you know, with the recent 8.0 changes, and I think they will be more geared to, you know, the monthly thing. But it's kind of bad in the sense, depending on how what's coming out with the tower, or maybe they're kind of testing out like if more people can beat the tower and then like can actually do other things at the same time, because it's just as bad getting tower every month but nothing new during that time. So for example, tower comes back every month and it's only for like 2 weeks. So those 2 weeks are pretty much occupied for tower, and there's nothing new. There's no new event series. There's no new whatever coming out during that time. So it doesn't make some players happy, because there are players that can beat it in like a couple of hours and stuff like that. So what have you. But there is that other side where you just put out tower and then put out like a new event series, and then people are so focused onto the tower and doesn't spend any time during the event series, because you know the event series are going to be back in terms of their dungeons and stuff like that, so people can prioritize those things first. But I don't think developers want to do that. Like they want you guys to actually play during the event time, because that's the reason why they made it in the first place, and want to release it like that. So depending if the global demographic can of course beat tower and be able to have the time / stamina / orb to deal with the event series of whatever they want to do. Other than that, that's pretty much it for global. And drops are abysmal. God dang it. I don't think I have a 3 drop for a long time. That being said, I am soloing, but 1 or 2 drops per is not that great. But I guess it's good for medals, because easy medals and stuff like that. And I don't really mind wasting orbs that much. But let's see how many I got. I got 9 during this 30 minutes. That is pretty sad in my opinion, but I am like over halfway done, so I'll probably be finished in a couple of hours. But that's pretty much it for me. I hope you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.